What is going on, Whisper Nation? Welcome into episode 374 of TFW Live. This is the News and Notes Show. We're going to be going over all of the news and notes from around the NFL, helping you get right for the championship week here in fantasy football. Before we jump into all of the action, though, I got to give a big shout out to you, Whisper Nation, Lady V, in the chat already, and a shout out to everybody else here who is going to be joining us throughout as we get this show rolling here. I am Austin Sear, and coming at you just one moment here, having just a quick technical difficulty here. What's up, Albert? Thanks for joining us in. I am right now in Phoenix, Arizona. I am at a wedding on New Year's Eve, so that's very exciting. So we've got the peaks right here in the background. Can't really totally see it here. Oh, there they go. They're showing up a little bit. Got a great Phoenix skyline. Enjoying the mountain ranges here with you today. I'm going to give a big shout out here, trying to pull up our list of YouTube subscribers here. Excuse me. Rocky start here in the beginning, but we're rolling through. Anyways, on today's episode, while I'm pulling this up, we're going to be going over a little bit of recap from yesterday's game and then touching in on all of the news and notes from around the NFL, touching in on the most up-to-date bits of information before Week 17. Ask your questions, starting lineup questions, any final things you're just pondering about before the big game comes your way. Let me know. I'll try to get to every single chat here, every question before the end of the show. And here is our YouTube members coming up. Oh, Vera coming in here, Lady V. That was embarrassing yesterday. Yeah, that Titans dynamic was a weird one, right? I don't know if I can recall a time when the game was irrelevant for one of the teams, at least the Titans were yesterday, but Week 18, the final week, is very relevant. They're going to be playing the Titans against the Jaguars, and the winner of that game takes the AFC South. But whatever happens in this week is actually irrelevant for both teams. Right now, I've got Trevor Lawrence in my starting lineup in my league of record in the championship game. And Doug Peterson is saying that they're not going to rest any of their starters, but it does make sense going up against the Houston Texans. If you get two good quarters in, maybe you start the third quarter with ETN and Trevor Lawrence, but you pull him out before it gets in there too far. It just seems like a smart play, but it's a great matchup otherwise, so it's certainly something to consider. I want to give a shout out here to our YouTube subscribers who support the show through a monthly subscription. Riders Chambers, Hannibal, Gus Ramos, Don Caples, Nick, Brett Zabo, John Credit, Eric Lorenzen, Donnie Tubbs, and Jersey J. You can grow our list of YouTube members by clicking join next to the video. Jumping into some of the stats from yesterday. We weren't really happy with anybody unless you maybe we're starting Bill Maher, the kicker for Dallas. Taking a look up here at the stats for yesterday's too, for both kickers. I don't think you were really feeling good. You did get that touchdown from Zeke, but not a lot of yards. I don't think he broke double-digit points in half-point PPR formats, and not what you'd like to see. Tony Pollard was out. Dak didn't really get it done for you. Pulling up here those stats from last night. $20 points for Dak, 282 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 1 rushing first down, 1 fumble lost for Dak Prescott. Not really getting it done for you there. Excuse me, Zeke did break double-digit points. He had 10.2, 37 yards and a touchdown, a couple of rushing first downs. So if you do have those bonus points, as we do in the listener league, then you broke double-digit points, but you needed that to happen. Derrick Henry was out of this game. Hassan Haskins jumped in. What's up, dude? 12 carries, 40 yards, couple of first downs. That's about it there for you. Dalton Schultz had himself a day. 2 touchdowns, 56 yards, caught 7 to 10 targets. You had Okonkwo with 24 yards. That's it on the other side for Tennessee. Bill Maher kicked a couple of field goals in, one from the 30-yard range, the other one from the 40-yard range, and got all 3 of his extra points. Cowboys defense did you a fine job there. 14 points, 13 points allowed. Titans not as good, 8.25 points. But that was our Thursday matchup. And hopefully you got what you needed out of that one. Let me know. Let's see here. Albert, what's up, Albert? How many championships did you make it to Austin? I made it to 25% of my leagues that I participated in championship. I was in 4 leagues. I made it to 1 championship. I lost to Philly Chelsea in our Dynasty League of Record last week. Otherwise, I would have made it in 50% of the championships. Damn, that was a good team. I set the points record in our 4-year Dynasty League, 4-year-old Dynasty League. Most points ever scored, and even the week before we got the extra week. But them's the cards. Lost to Chelsea. She had a phenomenal week, and it's going to be Philly Chelsea versus Big Travie in our Dynasty League of Record championship. That's going to be a really good one. Travis didn't have Derrick Henry last night. Chelsea's not looking to have Jalen Hurts. Travis will also probably not have Lamar Jackson. Everyone's got some people that they're missing this week. So yeah, and I'm playing in the Loser Bowl in the the Whisper League. And that's unfortunate. Me and Johnny are going head-to-head in this one. I think I'm feeling pretty good on this one. I started Robert Woods last night, and he did get that touchdown. Donnie, what's up, my dude? I am at the Peak Resort in Phoenix. Just off near... what's the peak called, Chelsea? No, what's the peak? The mountain. What's the mountain back there? Payastoa Peak. We're over by Payastoa Peak over in Phoenix. Got a wedding this weekend, Donnie. Good to see you, man. Miss you. All right, taking a look now. Let's bring up. Go ahead and take a look at some of the action we got going on from around the NFL. Arizona Cardinals starts with A. That's the top of the list. DeAndre Hopkins is dealing with a knee issue. Cardinals coach Cliff Kingsbury said DeAndre Hopkins left Friday's practice with a knee issue, and they'll see how he feels Saturday before deciding if he'll play. Hopkins will almost undoubtedly hit the questionable line. One could construct an argument that David Blow's evaluation and this rule out have a feel of tanking. And why wouldn't it? I mean, we all know play hard, put a product on the field you're proud to tell your grandpa about, but if you are playing for picks at this point, the playoffs are gone. I don't know why they wouldn't be like not trying to not win on this one, if you know what I mean. So DeAndre Hopkins is banged up. He's still got juice in the tank. I don't think they want to get him hurt. It makes a lot of sense for them to sit him. So that's not good for your fantasy lineup. But keep it in mind if you are considering starting DeAndre Hopkins. What's up, Jason Hackward? Great to have you guys with us. If you're enjoying what you're listening to, consider hitting a thumbs up on this video. Moving down, David Blow, quarterback. Cardinals coach Cliff Kingsbury said David Blow will start at quarterback week 17 against the Falcons. Let's go, David. We'll see about this one. I'm avoiding that matchup wherever possible. James Conner has not been benched despite the lack of playoff chances for the Cardinals. He has been sick, though, James Conner. He practiced on Friday, though, and did not make the week 17 injury report. So that's good. It looks like he is going to be active, and I think they're going to roll him out as they would full strength. And that's all the news that we've got out of Cardinals camp. Some good stuff. Let's see here. What's up, Jason? Should I start Robinson, PPR Washington? Great catch-up. Who would you be starting him instead of? Great matchup. Great catch-up. I like Brian Robinson this week with Antonio Gibson ruled out. They need to win. They're going to play. Brian Robinson's pretty good. He's a lot more opportunistic with Antonio Gibson out, and that's what you're looking at. I like Robinson. Maybe it's like a back-end RB1, even certainly a high-end RB2. Speaking of RB2s, you got Tyler Algier trying to make a case in that space. No updates out of Falcons camp. No news is good news, and Algier I'm playing against him in my League of Record championship, and I'm not happy about it. I think Algier is a scrappy back who's going to be getting matchups or is going to be getting carries the last 2 weeks of the season. Going to the Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson, he's not going to play week 17 against Pittsburgh. Well, that sucks. I hope he is back and healthy and ready for the playoffs because he is one of the most electric, exciting players in the NFL. Broncos signed running back Tyler Battier. Now, Battier off the Ravens practice squad. Don't start him, though. It's not a recommended option. That looks like all of the news. It is worth noting, though, that J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards are not on a snap or a carry count. That's great. It's great signs for their rehab. Tread lightly. Proceed with caution. This team has struggled to get first downs. They do deploy a committee approach most of the time, and I don't think it's going to change. But I'm grateful to see J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards at recovering well, if not already fully recovered. Great to hear those updates. Let's see what's going on in Buffalo besides getting crazy snow. Stephon Diggs, he was sick. He didn't practice yesterday. It's a good thing they don't play until Monday night. They say plenty of time to kick whatever illness he's dealing with. You hope so. Being sick sucks. Hope he can be back in 100% for this game. That looks like all the news out of Buffalo camp. No news is good news. Look at the Carolina Panthers. What a funny team the Carolina Panthers have been this year. You got Sam Darnold going to be starting week 16. They don't even give us updates anymore, guys. The Carolina Panthers haven't had an update on NBC Sports Edge in 11 days. What's going on, boys? Moving over to the Chicago Bears, Chase Claypool did not practice this week. Whether or not he's playing for the Bears, I don't think he's going to be playing for you unless you are in an extremely deep league. David Montgomery, though, you're probably playing him in most leagues. No news is good news. Glad to see that. Khalil Herbert did come back, but didn't really make a splash in any direction. Cincinnati Bengals are making splashes, and they're probably making a splash in your fantasy team, whether for you or against you. No news coming out of Bengals camp. That's fantastic. I've just been nervous to see a Jamar Chase setback on that hip. I don't know. Hip injuries are so crazy, man. You got a lot of heavy artillery there with some legs and joints attached to that pelvis, and I get nervous when there's a crack in it. Let's see, Jason, we got a question. Lazard worth a pickup this week? I think Lazard is a fine play. The Packers need to win. I think that Christian Watson going down really lowers the ceiling for Aaron Rodgers, but we're not talking about Aaron Rodgers. We're talking about Lazard. I think Lazard does step into the number one role. I think he's going to lead the team in targets and yards, most likely, and I think he's probably worth a pick. Again, it's going to be who would you be starting instead of Allen Lazard? But generally speaking, I think Allen Lazard's like a back-end wide receiver 2, high-end wide receiver 3. Got some upside. Nick Chubb, who's had upside, didn't really bring it to you last week. Talking about that loss in my Dynasty semifinals. Nick Chubb was on my squad. But he's dealing with a foot injury. He said he's going to play in the regular season's 2 final games. Doesn't surprise me at all. Guy is a warrior in the true sense of the word. Humble as they come and as good as we've seen. But I temper expectation. And that seems to be all the news. Deshaun Watson emergence is they're trying, they're pushing. Temper expectations. It looks like he's still figuring it out. We talked about the Cowboys already. Dalton Schultz had an excellent day there. 2 touchdowns along with 56 yards. Denver Broncos, man, what a squad. I'm going to say this about the Denver Broncos, though. The fired coach rule is one of those phenomenons. You got the dead loved one rule. You got the fired coach rule. And that's if one of those things happen, lots of times the next game, right after a loved one passed away or a shitty coach got fired, the team shows up. They play hard. And I think we could see some stuff coming out of Denver. I mean, Denver's already a talented team. Their defense has really been let down by the offense. They still don't, the Broncos defense is top-notch. It's really good. It's not elite, but it's really good. And I think you could see some Denver Broncos showing up in this matchup here going up against the Chiefs. We'll see. Jerry Jeudy is expected to play in Week 17. He's dealing with an ankle. Flared up last week, but it looks like he's going to play. Dulcich is on the IR. Been a fun story, late season pop-up, but he's out. Looking forward to talking about him next season, though. That looks to be all of the updates here. Tyler Battier signed. There, we mentioned that, but not recommended. I mistakenly talked about him being with the Ravens. He obviously hasn't been with the Ravens for a while. With the Broncos now, we're not starting anybody on the Broncos offense. Not recommending to, at least. That's the line. But I'll tell you, man, again, last time we saw Russell Wilson, before he went down, he had like 30 fantasy points. I think the trio of touchdowns, passes. There's some pathways to prosperity. see here. What's up, Jason? One more question. What about bring them all on? What about Waddle, Hill, Gesicki? 2 out. Yeah, I still like the wide receivers in Waddle and Hill. Hill more than Waddle, but I think they're both really talented. Bridgewater has shown an ability to move the ball around, not nearly as well as Tua has, but I'm downgrading both of these wide receivers, Gesicki as well, but I'm downgrading them all, but not like more than maybe I say 20%. So and your Hill and Waddle are starting up really high. So an 80% Hill or Waddle to me is still a really good option. What up, Gus? Good to see you, my dude. What up, guys? In the finals, yes. Best of luck to everybody competing in championships, Whisper Listener League included. Good luck. I got to beat Johnny this week in the Loser Bowl. Can't have that happen. We'll see. All right, moving on over to I already talked about the Broncos. Taking a look now at the Detroit Lions, man. I want to see what they're going to finish the season with. No news out of Lions camp. That's good news. Glad to see no DeAndre Swift setbacks, no Amon-Ra St. Brown setbacks, no James Williams setbacks. These are all good things. Green Bay Packers updates. Aaron Jones was removed from the Week 17 injury report. He's going to play against the Vikings. Good news. Christian Watson, he's questionable for Week 17. I'll tell you what, I'm not starting him. I'm not recommending it. He's been banged up. He's been hurt a lot. He's hurt right now. You saw his face after that hip injury took him out last week, and he looked completely dejected. There's a little enthusiasm right now with Christian Watson. I think he's a little bit nervous, and I think he's going to end the year and hopefully get involved in a really good offseason weight training routine to decrease the injuries moving forward, whatever he's got to do, because I am so fucking stoked about what Christian Watson can do for the Packers. We got the Houston Texans going to be playing against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Brandon Cooks did not practice on Thursday, given a personal day today. It looks like he will be active this week. They call him a wide receiver 3 flex play. I don't have a problem with that. That's all the news. That's more than we need. Moving on to the Colts. No updates out of Colts camps. Okay. See how this one finishes. We got another team here tanking. You guys think Jeff Saturday's coming back next year? He's a good guy, high character man, not a lot of experience, but that could mean he's going to be getting better fast. We'll see. All right, moving over to now the Jacksonville Jaguars. God damn, I want to see this team go off. I got ETN and Lawrence currently sitting in my starting lineup in my league of record championship matchup. I like the matchup against Houston. I don't like that they don't need to win this game at all. We got Trevor Lawrence. He's questionable. He's going to be playing this week. Not a problem on this toe. He's been moving better than he has all season. Let's see what they say here. Jaguars head coach Doug Peterson said the team would not rest at starters Week 17. There is never a meaningless game, Peterson said Wednesday when asked if the team would consider resting starters in what could be a meaningless Week 17 game against Houston. The AFC South Division crown will come down to the Jaguars-Titans Week 18 showdown, regardless of whether the teams win Week 17. Now, they write here, it looks like we can expect a full game this week for Trevor Lawrence, Christian Kirk, and the rest of the fantasy-relevant players. Yeah, but I know the dudes who write these NBC sports blurbs, and I love them, but you got to take it with a grain of salt. I think there's a real world where Trevor Lawrence doesn't play the fourth quarter if they're up by 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, whatever it is. We'll see. All right. Any defenses you like? I got the Bills and the Pats. Who would you take? Let me take a look at one thing here. I'm leaning. I don't like the Bills against the Bengals. I think the Bengals are playing pretty tight football right now. I think Joe Burrow is a winner. I think he's more of a winner than he is like a great quarterback. I think he's a really good quarterback, but I think he's like just the dude is a straight up winner. And I think there's something to prove in this game against the Bills if you're Joe Burrow. So I don't really like the Bills defense all of that much. New England is going up against Miami, and Miami's going to be down Tua. I think that this New England team, well, I don't think they're a good team. Bill Belichick, you can't knock his defensive preparedness and strategy and the units that he deploys all the time. So, yeah, I'm going to be rolling with the Patriots defense on this one, Gus. That's where I like to go. Good question. All right. Hey, why is this popping up? There we go. All right, getting back to the show. And other defenses, I'm also like I'm rolling out the Eagles. They're probably picked up though. They're a strong defense there. Giants aren't a bad one. Jaguars aren't a horrible one against Houston either. Between these two, though, again, I'm going with the Pats. All right. That's all of the updates out of Jaguars camp. Really glad to see ETN not dealing with any feet setbacks. Kansas City Chiefs. Man, these Chiefs have been a fun team this year. It's great, right? Like we were asking, is Tyreek Hill benefiting from Patrick Mahomes? Is Patrick Mahomes benefiting from Tyreek Hill? Tyreek Hill is maybe the best wide receiver in the NFL, top 3. Patrick Mahomes, same thing at the quarterbacking position. Maybe they're even both having better seasons this year without each other than they had with each other. I don't know how that all works out, but you guys got a Super Bowl together, and I digress. We're talking about the Chiefs now. Mecole Hardman's abdomen has kept him out for the last several weeks. He's not going to play Week 17 games against the Broncos. He did suffer a setback for Andy Reid. That sucks. Didn't practice either the last 2 days. Darn. Kadarius Toney, believers rejoice. Toney seems to play the Hardman role for as long as Hardman is out and as long as Toney is healthy. Dang, that's too bad about Mecole Hardman. I'm bummed about that one. And that's all of the updates. Get your McKinnon and Pacheco balance ready. We'll see. Jaguars are sneaky good, dude. I'm with you. Gus. And they're like Trevor Lawrence is leaning in. You know what I mean? Like he is trying to show himself. He's trying to show defenses. He's going for it. He is gaining confidence in a way like Geno Smith is losing confidence in the last couple of weeks. Ooh, playing up against Mahomes, McKinnon, and Kansas City defense. You know, I'm sorry about the Mahomes McKinnon matchup. I'm also playing up against Mahomes, and I'm not stoked about that. McKinnon, it's a coin toss, but the Kansas City defense. I know it sounds like a great matchup going up against the Denver Broncos. But this Denver Broncos team just fired their head coach, and I think we might see a fired coach game on this one. And that's, you know, that team just is excited that they've got the head coach gone, and they show up and they play maybe their best game of the season. It's an interdivision game. I don't love the Kansas City defense this week. I know on paper it's rock solid, but I don't love going up against a team that just fired their shitty head coach. Oh, speaking of teams going through some things, Derek Carr is going to step away the final 2 games to avoid the obvious distractions. This team is in a playoff contention position. It's weird. I don't know really what's going on in Las Vegas. It's certainly something. Chandler Jones was put on the IR. That's too bad. And we got Jarrett Stidham who's going to be starting. I'm not recommending starting Stidham, and you're going to be playing Devontae Adams, but I don't think Stidham's going to do better for Adams than Carr did. It's irrelevant, though. You're not going to be benching Adams. Keep your fingers crossed. All right. Moving on. Get to the Chargers. Los Angeles Chargers running back Austin Eckler is not on the final injury report with that knee issue. It's great news. Do we have anything on Mike Williams? Anything on Keenan Allen? No news is good news. All right. No news is good news. Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler, Justin Herbert. Fire them up. Let's talk about the other team in LA, the Rams. You guys starting Baker Mayfield? Anyone going that route? I'm thinking of starting Tyler Higbee. Guys, let me know about this. Right now I have Tyler Higbee in my starting lineup ahead of David Njoku in the tight end position. I got Higbee in, Njoku sitting. I'm still in consideration mode on this one, but I think I'm leaning Higbee. Him and Baker Mayfield look to have a real connection in that Denver game. Higbee played well. He caught tight passes. He caught clutch passes. Baker looked to him in moments of distress. I think Higbee's kind of on the up on this one. His elbow, though, is making him questionable. Sean McVay said that despite the listing, he believes Higbee will play. Had an MRI on the elbow, came back favorably. They were listing him, expect him to go and play as a tight end 1 against the Chargers. There we go. We've got Cam Akers, believes the Rams will retain Cam Akers 2023 while possibly taking a running back in the NFL draft. Cam Akers and the running backs for LA have been such a peculiar storyline all season. And then to have such a great game for Akers last week, which is wild. And that's all the news we got out of the Rams camp. Let me know if anybody's starting anybody in. If anybody's starting. Ramondre is still questionable, Gus. Yes, we'll get to the Patriots here in a moment. I think it looks like he's going to play. And I'm sure they're going to have him listed as questionable all the way. And I agree about the matchup. Higbee's is in a more favorable one there. All right. Tua is going to be out. We already mentioned that. And Teddy Bridgewater coming in. Okay. No other news about any other players. That's good. Glad to see that. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle going to be taking a reduction with Tua behind center, but not enough to take him out of your lineup unless you've got another excellent wide receiver that you're balancing or deciding between. No news out of the Vikings camp. Great. Excited to see this Packers-Vikings matchup coming down. All right, Gus, now we're at the Patriots. We got Damian Harris not on the final injury report for Week 17. Okay, Damian Harris coming back in. We got Ramondre Stevenson last listed as limited in Wednesday's practice. So he's looking like still questionable. We also got Damian Harris coming back in. So I would expect to see some more opportunity going to Damian Harris. And that's going to come out of Ramondre Stevenson's pocket. Not great news. But you're still probably starting him again, though, unless you are deciding between another viable running back. And I would still be playing Ramondre Stevenson over Damian Harris. Whew, my New Orleans Saints. They got nothing to lose for. They traded away all their picks for this man here, Chris Olave. He's questionable Week 17. This team still got a chance at the playoffs, guys. The AFC South, NFC South, they're both bad. Everyone is below 500. And the Saints could come through. Alvin Kamara returned to practice on Friday, thank God. Kamara missed the first two practices of the week with a personal issue. He's also been chirping a little bit about third down, and there seems to be some interpersonal issues going on in the Saints room. I'm glad to see Kamara back. He's had a good last 2 weeks. I need him in the championship game. No additional news from the last several days. That's all right. Very glad about Alvin Kamara coming back to practice. Moving now to the New York Giants. I think so. That's the plan, at least. Let's go, Internet. Here we go. There we go. New York Giants players. Doesn't look like we're getting any updates on anyone. Last one was from a week ago. That is great news for Saquon Barkley rosters. Probably not starting much outside of Saquon Barkley, outside of extremely deep leagues, desperate matchups. But Barkley's a stud, and he looks good to go. New York Jets have had a tumultuous, dynamic set of rosters all season long. Chris Streveler will not be active. Who cares? Mike White is going to be starting this week. I like Mike White. I think he is a streaming option. Shit. Well, actually, I don't think I can start Mike White in my league of record because I think Chelsea picked him up. So I think Mike White is a fine option. Coming in, Zach Wilson's done. He's going to be inactive. Wow, he's going to be in street clothes, Zach Wilson. That's a fall. Hope he can figure it out and bring something else to the table next season. Looks like all of the news out of Jets camp. I got no problem starting Garrett Wilson with Mike White behind center. Tough beyond that, but let's see. Kamara or ETN PPR? I would lean Kamara on this one because I don't think Kamara's coming out of the game. And Kamara's been really good the last 2 weeks. He's got a good matchup. So I would lean Kamara over ETN. I'm starting both of them, though, in my league of record. I can only start one that I'd go with the prior. Good question. Philadelphia Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts is going to be out this week. Possibility plays in week 18. Miles Sanders, running back, is not on Philadelphia's final injury report, week 17. That's great. Nice RB2 for you there. Gardner Minshew's going to get the start. And that looks to be all of the news. A.J. Brown was limited at Wednesday's practice. Looks like he's going to have a chance to play. A.J. Brown will be in an all right matchup here. Fine situation. Get him in your lineup. Do stay tuned because it is still a situation worth monitoring, but I think he's going to be fine. Moving on now to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Deontay Johnson practiced in full on Thursday. Wide receiver 3 flex play this week, going up against the Ravens on Sunday night. Kenny Pickett, deep streaming option, not recommended. That looks to be how it's going to be. Najee Harris didn't practice on Wednesday. Should be some cause for concern. We'll have to stay tuned to the end of the week news. Haven't gotten updates yet. But also tune in Sunday morning at 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, 11:30 Eastern time. Johnny, Travis, and myself are going to be back on for the final Sunday morning lineup show. Really excited about that, to have all the boys back together, and we'll have more information for you then. So make sure you like and subscribe and get the notifications coming your way ahead of Sunday's show. And that looks to be all of the news out of Steelers camp. Not too bad. Moving over to the San Francisco 49ers. Deebo Samuel's not going to play week 17. Okay. Christian McCaffrey was taken off the injury report earlier. That's good. That's about all of the news. I'm glad to see no other setbacks for any other fantasy assets out of 49ers camp. Moving into the Seattle Seahawks page. We got Ken Walker expected to play. I love the extra addition here. Pete Carroll said he should have fresh legs after the Seahawks managed his reps all week in practice. So get your Ken Walkers in there. Lockett is questionable at the wide receiver position. He participated in the Seahawks walkthrough on Wednesday, but was straight listed as a DNP. We'll see. That's all of the information, all of the updates, fantasy relevant. We got. I'm glad to see no news on DK. I'm glad to see no negative news on Geno Smith. Moving over now to Tampa Bay. Leonard Fournette tweeted on Monday that he's playing through a Liz Frank injury, upset over constant jabs about his weight, playing shape. Fournette took on Twitter saying, "Hey, when people will be on here just talking, saying I'm out of shape, etc. Do y'all understand I'm playing with a Liz Frank in my foot every week, can barely push off my foot, but the grace of God, I'm going to keep proving y'all wrong." Well, he had a great week last week, 20-something fantasy points for you. Looks like he's going to grind it out at the end of the season, but Liz Franks do slow you down. And no other updates out of Bucs camp. We already talked about the Titans, so we're coming up to our final squad now, the Washington Commanders, where we're going to have Carson Wentz coming back, making the start. Antonio Gibson will not, though. He has been ruled out with a knee and an ankle injury. Fire up Brian Robinson shares. Carson Wentz going to start. Not a really big impact I'm looking at for Terry McLaurin or Brian Robinson. Start your commander options as you would. All right. And that looks to be all of the news and notes from around the NFL. It's been a joy and an honor to be with you this Friday evening. I wish everybody here in Whisper Nation and beyond a great week 17. I hope all of your wildest dreams come true and magic happens for you and your loved ones. On behalf of Johnny, Game Time Hicks, Big Travie, our producer Donnie, and everybody else who makes the Fantasy Whispers go around, I am Austin Sear, and we will catch you Sunday morning, 8:30 a.m. Pacific time. Peace.
Right here.
Look at you go. You made it to the end of another one of our videos. Hey, if you still have some questions, I totally understand. Or you just want to join an awesome fantasy football community, head on over to our Discord chat. Link is in the description below. And if you're still not sold on us, check out one of these videos.